Minisode.
Minisode. Welcome to Ion Horror's Minisode recap of Dragula Titans Season 2. I'm your host, John Correia, and I'm joined today and always with Waylon Jordan. Waylon, how are you today?
I'm great. I am totally into spooky season and enjoying all of this. And my God, do we have a lot to talk about? So I'm totally
Yes.
here for it.
Yes, lots of looks, lots of drama, lots of reaction, but we can't start talking about it until we introduce our other co-host, Lindsey Gant. Lindsey, how are you?
That's me. I'm great. It is mid-October. Where did spooky season go? I'm very scared for it to be over.
If you keep that flame burning in your heart, it's never over. So before we get into things, this episode we are covering episodes 1 and 2 of season 2 of Dragula Titans. Quick recap of episode 1: we had the introductions of 14 drag monsters who are competing this season, which is a record number for the show. We had the season's first fright feat, which was pulling pins out of a voodoo doll, which Dahlia Black won and later used against Deborah. We then went straight into the competition, which was a group challenge of doing the Halloween trick or treat party, part 2. The winner of the challenge was, of course, Eva Destruction, and we saw in the bottom 4 Abora, Cynthia Doll, Dahlia Black, and Frankie Doom, who then had to go to and do the extermination challenge, which was hike 5 miles at night to the bridge to nowhere and bungee jump off. The episode, of course, ended. Well, not of course, because this was the first time they didn't reveal who was eliminated, but all 4 contestants did jump, and which led us to episode 2, where our remaining monsters found themselves over at Neotropolis out in the desert. It was there that it was revealed that Frankie Doom went home after the extermination challenge. Here at Neotropolis, they were set to perform in rock bands in the return of Monsters of Rock, titled Cyber Pussy Edition, into 3 teams. The winner of this challenge was Jaharia, and the bottom 2 were Jay Jolie and Loris, who were sentenced to go stand on the pit, and we got to say goodbye to Loris. My apologies. Also, the judges for episode 1 was David Dosmalchin and Victoria Black, with Vander Von Odd as the special guest for the Fright Feet. And the judges for episode 2 were Kate Sagal and Ryan Turek. Now, I'm going to open this up to the floor. What was up with JK and Cynthia Black? Because episode 1, those two were fucking at each other's throats the second they got into the cauldron. Even though JK also voted for Cynthia Black at the end of episode 1, episode 2, they were best friends. Even JK was fucking confused about this. What do you guys think is happening there?
Okay, well, first of all, I have an apology to make, apparently.
Please.
Because I really spent so much time trash talking Abora when we all got together. And I don't know if she has grown up since the last time I saw her or what's going on, but she still has time to be that crazy goblin that we all know that she is. But Cynthia has really taken the cake for the drama queen this time around. I mean, that bitch is so all over the place.
I feel so bad for the audio person, because even we were just rewatching episode 1 to keep that fresh in our brains, and like the second she said that, it's just like high peak levels. Fuck, and it was
Cynthia's been
incredible.
activated.
She's been activated, yeah, and I love Cynthia Black.
It's the best line from JK. To be honest, like JK has been rubbing me wrong maybe from the very first time we saw him, but like this season he's doing a little bit better. I can see like where he's going with his looks. Like I understand more of his punk aesthetic. I also really am loving this relationship he's building out with Cynthia, but I think that he has no hesitation on saying exactly what he's thinking and saying it the right way, and I really appreciate what he's bringing that to the table.
It sounds like she's being a bit more calculated, because like her whole personality, JK, I'm annoying, but I think she's realizing that she doesn't have to do that all the time. And when she does do it all the time, it kind of detracts from what she's saying, because it's like, oh, you're just always trying to get a joke in. But it seems like now it's like, okay, I'm only speaking when I need to, or I feel like I need to. And I think it's making her much more effective. Still annoying, but much more digestible in these doses that she's dishing out.
But Cynthia has always been annoying. Like the very first season, we're just like, my God, who the hell is this person? What is she doing? first season, I got sad when she left because I got used to this persona she was putting on and the excitement she brings to the table. And then as soon as that came right back to season 2, I was like, my God, I forgot what she was like. This is Cynthia full force, and I'm honestly pretty excited to see it again.
I love her, dude. She's the right kind of annoying for me.
There is a wrong kind of annoying on the show too. It's not Cynthia.
One of the big things for me is like she's sitting there screaming, literally screaming, about how I would never do this to you. I would never do this to you. Did you not come to play this game? Because yes,
Yeah.
at some point you're gonna have to go up against one of these other people that you just swear you would never do anything to them. Nobody believes that shit. Like, just shut up.
Which also brings me to at the end of episode 1 when they said when the Boulets challenged the players to put someone on their team at the bottom. There was a lot of drama that was happening there, and they clearly
Oh
did it to
yeah.
stir shit up because everyone was getting along too well. And the big thing that came out of that is Eva Destruction versus Sigourney Beaver, which just felt like two egos just kind of going at each other. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Sigourney and Eva, both two people that I love deeply, both dear to my heart. They both just do not know when to kind of calm down a little bit.
Everybody was talking about, and I don't think they showed us enough to actually make a decision on our own. But everybody was talking about how Sigourney was acting like she was untouchable and all this other stuff, like behind the scenes, and the Boulets wouldn't send her home because of her fans and all this stuff like this. Maybe that's just shit that people are talking, or maybe it's actually going on. I don't know. I will say that when she came at Eva with that, you really want to start things like this. I mean, you really, really want to start things like this? I was like, this is out of control already. And both and Eva, I love Eva, but she is not nearly as bad as she wants to be. And as much as she wants to try to say, I'm putting my claws out and I'm showing everybody I got claws this season, honey, you don't have claws. If you do, they pop off when you put too much pressure on them. Like, I just need you to calm down. Not everybody has to be a bad bitch, and you are not.
Yeah.
Like, you're just not.
I just love their battle of face that they had, both Eva's face and
Yeah.
that like skeleton look, and then you have Sigourney and the bright red just constantly just like giving like the office looks to the camera or just like side-eyeing the crew and just being like having a
That,
moment for everything that Eva had said.
that camera 2 moment where Sigourney's like, really? You're doing this? And then just looks at camera 2, and then you catch for a split second Eva go do like a double take of like, bitch, you staring at a camera? was incredible. I think we rewound that like 5 times. It's just funny because both of them they're such strong competitors, and they're such a great artist, and that when they do start to trade blows, it kind of comes off middle schooly where it's like, these two
Yeah.
like kids just saying things with attitude, and it's just like, you don't need to do this. I view them both as the adults in the room. You know what I mean? And it's just like weird to see them kind of like drop to that a little bit. But I'm also here for it because I love them both as performers and artists. So
They probably know they're on the Boulet Dragula show. They know they need to drop to that level a little bit in order to give what is expected in the show.
but to bounce off of Waylon a bit, episode 1, it was kind of the return of everyone saying, oh, Sigourney thinks she's better than me. And she even said on her season that she tends to keep to herself and not engage on these type of things. And people take that as ego when it's really just she's focused. Eva is the same as well. People have called her out for being like that. And she says, no, I'm just very hyper focused. And so it's interesting that they would come at each other. But I don't know. Sigourney, like you said, they might not have shown enough. I don't know. All I know is that was still a very cartoony showdown between her and Eva in episode 1.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the person who called Sigourney out for that was none other than our Dahlia Black.
Yo, can we talk about this shit stirrer?
So the question of like, has Sigourney been doing that? I don't know if I can trust that she has because it's Dahlia Black who's bringing that shit up.
Calling everyone
that
alcoholics.
Girl has been the absolute worst the last 2 episodes and makes me want to punch a bitch. I don't know.
Yeah. So Dahlia throughout episode 1 was saying that her teammates were all drinking alcohol in excess. And then it was revealed in episode 2 during the cauldron, which immediately the bottom 3 were just at each other's throats, being like, you go down, you go down. And then Zoff was like, hold on, everyone's real quiet besides these three. I need to throw a bomb in here. Dolly has been running to production and telling on everyone, saying that I'm on drugs, you're all drunk. And then that's when we had the, and you too, Cynthia, and she got activated. And it really does feel like Dolly is doing some really shitty trying to get people out from behind. Because we were wondering watching episode 2, like, why is she talking so much? Why are they interviewing her so much? And it's her going to production a lot, which is not cool.
I think if you came to be in a competition, you need to fight on the competition and not be running around behind everybody's backs trying to get the people thrown off before they can compete. And
Mm.
that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, if she's really running around doing this shit, like, are you afraid that you're not going to win? Is it because you've got Victoria Black to live up to and you're trying to do that? What are you trying to prove by trying to have people kicked off and making the competition less for you in this? I want everybody in there all with a fighting chance. I really do. But like, if you're running around doing this bullshit, that is ridiculous.
It like has less to do, I think, with the competition itself, but she's just coming at people's personalities and things that like are direct attacks onto who they are and their personhood. It's too much. Like the going on about how much drinking and possible drugs and stuff like that has major repercussions outside of this. At the end of the day, this is also a job, and Dahlia is saying people not behaving professionally. She is not behaving professionally by bringing up these unprofessional topics and trying to get somebody slammed for things that have nothing to do with the competition. I'm pretty upset by especially how she's taken a stab at Priscilla, especially. Like, I think that she does not deserve that whatsoever. And I mean, later on in episode 2, she brings up her own bipolar disorder, and then you have Jade Jolie coming back talking about her bipolar disorder and how she's saying, "How dare you use that as a reason to behave the way that you're doing? Because that's not how I behave, as I also have that experience." So I'm glad that that's been called out a little bit, but I think it's just not fair that Dahlia is behaving like this.
When they were all talking about the ketamine and stuff like that, and was it Blackberry who was like, oh, her prescription comes in a little plastic baggie or something like that? I was like, oh shit, now see, that's a good read.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Now, one thing that I definitely, since we're bouncing between the two episodes, really appreciated about the two, especially watching them back to back, is how they kind of flow into each other, and it really does feel like a part 1 and a part 2. But episode 2, I really appreciated the Neopolis stuff going on because it felt very season 1, season 2. Them putting on their makeup in a tent and just screaming at each other. You're not saying that they've been pampered since season 3, but definitely like it had more of that punk rock energy of season 1 and 2, and just everyone screaming at each other while dust is being blown everywhere is great. And I think that helped lend to some of their performances. What do you guys think about Frankie and Loris going home in these 2 episodes? Because I'm always rooting for Frankie, but it's a stiff competition, and I was really worried that they would be taken out in one of the early episodes.
I'm really okay with Loris going home.
Oh, like, yeah, agreed. That's why I was like, I'm worried. I was worried about Frankie. Loris, bye.
Yeah. From the first time she was whipping her ponytail around, I was like, okay, take her home now. Yeah, I don't know. And with that little teaser at the end of episode 2, I mean, I don't know what they have in store. I don't know how gone they are. I'm not sure that Frankie really earned or really was the bottom on that first go around.
Yeah.
And, I mean, with everything that was going on, I mean, one of the things, and I know they can't show them all separately, but when they're just cutting everyone together in these performance rounds, and you're seeing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you're not seeing the whole performance, so you don't know. All you're seeing is what they show you, so you don't know everything that went on in each one of the performances. And I think that really kind of works against us as an audience because we don't know how badly they were really doing in all of these. We only know what they showed us, in those little moments. I'm not sure Frankie really deserved it. I'm not sure who else I would have sent home besides Cynthia because good God. Yeah, it was really wild to me. And you were talking about Dahlia's look for that first one. I was looking and apparently she was supposed to be the purple people eater. Is that a classic character that people dress up as for Halloween?
Yeah, I don't know about costume, but I got that. Like whenever it's like, I don't know what the fuck she is. I'm like, one-eyed purple people eater.
No, listen, I love that song.
But it's not a classic costume.
So wait, so if we don't think that necessarily Frankie had the lowest of the low in that first episode, so who did? Who do we think had like the worst look, and maybe also who had the best look in that first episode?
I don't know about the worst look, but with as far as the lip sync goes, was it Jade who did not know the words at all, seemingly, and was just like, I mean, if you're doing a performance competition, like that seems like really important to me.
Yeah.
If you're coming onto a Boulet Dragula show, you probably should listen to the EP several times before even coming onto the show. Memorize it in advance and just know you're going to sing a song eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've put out 2 albums. They're not long albums. Just memorize them. It's gonna pop up. They might drop a new one, but at least you're prepared, you know. Um, and I mean, as far as looks go, I mean, I get it because I love Frankie. Frankie is very much so of the style of a lot of the drag queens I first encountered when I came to LA. I think that's why I'm always rooting for her. But I also understand she wasn't the only werewolf. And so when the other werewolf JK is getting so many good remarks on being original and all that, there is that comparison that kind of knocks you down a peg or two because their look wasn't bad. But again, when someone does more, then that's where the trouble comes. I do think Jade's lack of body paint and lip syncing really brought her down. Although I'm also really excited to see what she can do if she truly goes for it. And that's always been the problem with Jade. It's like you have this opportunity. You keep saying you're a monster. I'm not saying she's not a monster. I'm just saying she needs to go further with it. And I need more filth. Everyone's too clean.
Yeah, and that's been across the board so far. I mean, the looks for the cyber pussy were really good, but even then, when they were being a little grungier and stuff like that, it was still just a little bit too clean. I'm like, y'all are out in a desert landscape. Go roll in the dirt.
Yeah. I will say though, I'm so stoked on Jaharia's win in episode 2. The fact that like her look, her performance, everything was awesome. It was her first win. She wasn't the lead singer of a battle of the bands, so she's the first person to win that wasn't lead, like setting a new standard and everything. I've always been a fan of Jaharia, and between that and getting such high remarks in episode 1, dude, yeah, she's a real contender this season, and I love it. And she actually played the guitar, unlike Loris.
Yeah, and I think I really enjoyed the second performance, the that cyber pussy like showdown. Like that was a lot of fun for me. I really liked the look. I liked the setting. I liked what they were doing and everything. More than the first, I love the campy Halloween party. I really do, but this was just so much more fun to me
Yeah.
than the first one.
Did it take everyone a moment to recognize that it was Israel under all the clothes?
I knew immediately. You're like, who is this guy? And I said, that's Israel. And you're like, what?
It's hard to recognize him with a shirt on. Who do you guys think was the best guest judge in these 2 episodes? Who gave like great notes, great critiques, and really contributed?
I think Kate Siegel would agree with us. There needs to be more filth. She was desperate for more tongue in that kiss that happened.
I know, and she is quite frankly one of my favorite actresses, and I
I love her
and I will
so much.
watch her in anything. So yeah, it was really fun to see her, and she seemed to actually be conscious, unlike Victoria in the first episode, because I'm not sure Victoria was even fully conscious while she was giving her critiques on the first episode. But I'm sorry, we start talking about this stuff and I get really shady. I'm sorry about that.
Bring the shade. Bring the
We
shade.
love it. We love it.
But yeah, Kate really did it for me. And Ryan Turek, I mean, he's fun to have on these shows, and I really like seeing him on stuff like this. But like, he didn't really do it for me. I think Kate wins so far as best guest judge. And Desmalchin, again, I love him, but he seemed to be a little tired. He doesn't seem like someone who gets very excited anyway. So
Here's the thing. I agree. I think Kate gave amazing critiques. I think she also wasn't afraid to like be like, I wanted more of this. Why didn't you give me more of this? Which I really appreciate. Dalsmalchin, he's not high energy, but he gives off. I don't know if you guys pick it off or if I'm just reading into it. He gives off a bit of horniness with it all when he's talking about some of these things. He's just like a little bit of a horny energy, and I really appreciate.
I think you're just horny for Desmelchin.
Could be.
We're all horny for Desmelchin. Did you see that eye makeup?
Did you not see his performance in the last voyage of the Demeter? I mean, come on, with the Russian accent.
He was also not wary about countering the critique from the Boulets too. The Boulets thought that the conga line was great, and he was like, "Why are you doing a conga line? That doesn't make any sense for what we're doing here in this party." So I like that he was able to call out some of his little bits as well.
Yeah, nothing's worse than a guest judge who just goes, "Yeah, what they said." And so that's one of the things I really appreciate about M and K is that they both were very much so like, no, you brought me here to do a thing. I'm doing the thing. And they're great. And yeah, they also dressed the part really well. Great looks from the two of them.
Kind of going all over the place, but I really want to bring the conversation back to Abora. So we
Why?
talked a little bit about how, because I was right with you at the very beginning. Like, why is Abora back? Why is she here? That's probably a quote from Waylon, very first episode that we have here.
I apologize, damn it.
No, I know. We were all there with you. But then she came back in the very first like 10 minutes or so we saw her. I was like, Abora, she's that bitch again. She's doing the exact same shit. But then she kind of pulled it out. She was, I don't know, I have a lot more empathy, I think, for her now. Like, I think that I see how much more she's been doing since maybe she left. I think maybe her skill has increased. I'm excited to see what she's doing on the stage. And the fact that she was in the top 4 for the judges, but then got sent to the bottom by Dahlia, I just think that's kind of telling on how well she's progressed. And I'm kind of excited to see what she's doing. The second one, the cyber pussy, she was on stilts. And I thought that was pretty exciting. Like, I think that's a fun skill to bring to the table. And I thought that the look, even without the stilts, was pretty fun and engaging. And she was out there in the crowd and having fun. And so I'm actually pretty excited to see what she brings next. And so who knew that I'd be excited to see more Bora.
It was funny because when we were rewatching episode 1, you started going off on being like, I'm glad she's not as bad as like previous season. And then she immediately started doing you gotta call the Boulets and ask them why I'm back for a third time. It's like, stop auditioning for the Joker.
But again, that was like the first like 10 minutes of like the 2 hour 15-minute specials that we've been watching.
And that's the thing too, is like she hasn't changed, but it does seem like she's, I don't want to say mellowed out, but like it's definitely being more like, all right, cool, understandable. Me just exploding all over everybody is not the thing to do, and creates enemies right off the bat. Because even when they were doing the introductions and everyone was seeing each other for the first time, people were like, oh, Eva's back again? And then Abora's, and they're like, oh, why is Abora back? This is her third time. And I think JK even called it, where she was like, well, it's also Eva's third time. But everyone was going on Abora about it. And it really does feel like she has elevated, has progressed, and both, personally and professionally. So
who knew that there was maturity there to be had
with most of these folks, us included.
But even when it was something that was kind of per usual, I mean, I don't know what it is with her and the long pointy nose. I know it's a signature, but like, she stayed on the theme. She did what she was supposed to do. She put her whole ass into it and really gave a hell of a performance. And even that was something that I was like, she seems to actually be taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Bit more intentional with her looks.
I'm surprised she didn't hit anybody with those stilts, though. When she started swinging them over everyone's heads, I was really worried about it just clunking someone in the face.
We're talking a bit about wanting more filth. The scarecrow, like, gutted herself at the beginning before she was even in the dance party. Remember that? She opens herself up and all these guts kind of started falling out. That was pretty fun. I wish we saw more like guts kind of just being thrown around in the dance party or something.
But I need more filth. Like Priscilla eating the cigarette and then spitting it out on stage during the Cyber Pussy performance was incredible. I love that shit. That's what I want more of. We
need more filthy Priscilla.
I need trash. And Priscilla's look in the Halloween party as like the furry faucet is what I think someone said, or I misheard and loved. That was great. She had the tits but all the hair on the chest still. Great Great look.
Let's talk Disasterina.
Oh
I don't know
my
that there's
God.
much to talk about with Disaster. I mean, she comes on, she says a few lines, she does her thing, she kind of disappears to the background a little bit, you know? Even her looks haven't been that great.
She's been out of Dragula for a while. I think she said she was there in 2018 or so. I don't remember what season she was on.
Season 2.
She was in season 2, Dragula. That's like forever in our world of like fast-paced things on Dragula, but she's always been like one of our favorites. Like whenever she does speak, I think it has a lot of intentionality and there's a lot of like meaning to it. And to be honest, I think I liked her look the best out of anybody in the very first Halloween episode. It was a really cool, clean wizard look.
Yeah.
I got excited when I saw her like look for the first time. The red coming out down her eyes and the eyeball painted on her forehead, and that just really stark, crisp wizard look with all the color. That I wanted to get a closer look at the dress that she was wearing. I loved it so much. So I think that's probably my favorite look from the first one. And it didn't get much comments or commentary from anybody. So again, I think she's getting pushed to the back a little bit. But I wonder if that's her or if that's editing, or maybe that's just because she's not being focused on by the judges right now.
Well, there's episode 1 had 14 contestants. Episode 2 had 13. We're going into the next one with 12, but supposedly they're doing something with the 2 that have been eliminated so far. I don't know how many fucking episodes of the season is, but there's a certain point where people need to go home and stay home. That being said, I do know that one of the big stark differences with Disasterina between season 2 and now is season 1 and 2, they had them still in drag during their interviews. And so Disasterina was doing her commentary during season 2 as Disasterina, the character. Whereas now they're out of the drag. And so you see the accent getting dropped. You see that bit more introspective. I'm really loving it because especially, you know, right off the bat, she's like, I'm here because clock is ticking. Like she recognizes like I only have so many years, and I follow her on Instagram. She's a mess, and that's why we love her. And so it's great seeing that introspection.
I feel like maybe they just haven't shown me enough of her this time around, and maybe it is because they're just trying to get everyone in there. I didn't feel like there was much being brought to the table by her so far. We'll see what happens as more people are eliminated if she stays in. I mean, she seems to be playing a very safe track because they're not complimenting her a whole lot, but they're not bad mouthing her either. She's just kind of floating along for this couple of episodes, and I'm waiting to see what happens when we go forward.
But I think the line that she said that most stuck out with me was they were giving the free gift makeup, and she was like, I'm so glad to be getting this makeup. Like the makeup I still use is my wife's. It's just like, I just feel like that shows like a little bit of, a lot of these women have gone on to do like amazing drag careers, but when you're thinking about like taking a step back and being like, Disasterina still takes her wife's makeup just to make sure that she has like enough she needs to do her drag. I just think that's just a really nice like breath of fresh air for like, once again, like what is drag, what are we doing? And
well, yeah, and the real lived experience of
exactly
drag, because Jesus, it is not easy, and it is fucking expensive.
Yeah,
makeup ain't cheap. JK also was like, I am so thankful for getting free makeup. Like I love seeing the gutter punks being like, oh my god, free makeup. Yeah, I will say I do think it is when it comes to folks like Disasterina. I think it's a lack of participation in the cauldron drama that's really keeping them from being more featured.
I think the problem is that there's so many contestants and they always pan back to Dahlia to have her perspective on whatever the hell is going on. I'm hearing too much from Dahlia, not enough from Disasterina, and that's my biggest critique of these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and Blackberry too. I want to be hearing more from Blackberry and Jaharia.
Jaharia has some good singers.
Yeah. Before we head on out here, who do you think is next on the chopping block?
I think Jade will find her way back down there again, unless this was a bit of a wake up call that she needed. I don't dislike Jade. I honestly didn't really remember her until now. I'm excited to see where she's at now. It seems like she has a lot more come into her own personality a bit more. I think that she has a lot to say. I love the faces she makes, and I think the very first time we saw her in the boudoir, she was kind of just like jumping around. It was just like, please give me more of this trash talk. I need it. I kind of love that from her, but I haven't really seen too much from her in the actual presentation wise. So maybe see more of that, but I don't know if she'll be able to do better than what she has been doing.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jade and very possibly Zavaleta. I mean, I love Zavaleta. She's a lot of fun, but geez, she really hasn't brought it enough so far.
I'm a little concerned about Laza Valletta. Like, I love her so much, and I was so excited where she got in her last season. And yeah, she just hasn't shown it yet. And even in the promo images, that again, we talked about the Aztec or Mayan look that she brought, absolutely incredible, absolute art. And
Yeah.
I just don't know if she is in it mentally, or I don't know. I hope we see more.
But that's what I'm curious about too, because with Zav, again, huge fan of Zavaleta, love their art, love everything they do. Her season when she first started, I didn't like her at first because she was talking a lot of shit and the looks just weren't, matching the attitude. And then after a couple episodes, the shit talking came down and the looks started coming out, and we started seeing her at the level that, and I shouldn't even say that the shit talking came down because it never stopped. Let's be honest. I will say though, I don't care how cunty your little Bob is. If you're a fucking ghost, you got to have the fucking headpiece on. You can't be walking around like it's fucking Hamlet with your headpiece, because no one is going to know if you're a ghost, if you're Nosferatu's girlfriend, or what. Once she wore that headpiece, it was like, ghost, got it. Sheet ghost, got it. But without it, it's a great cunty little Bob. The eye makeup is phenomenal, but girl, no one knows you're a sheet ghost.
That Hamlet read is so on point.
Well, thank you guys again for coming together and talking Titans again. It's always a pleasure. Looking forward to many more cunty little Bobs and bitchy moments and all the drama that comes with it. This has been a Eye on Horror minisode for Talking Titans with Dragula Titans Season 2. Our artwork is by Chris Fisher, so go check him out. And the music, as always, is by Restless Spirit, so check them out. Get some merch, get some CDs. You can find Eye on Horror on most of the socials around the internet. Waylon, where can we find more information on you, pal?
Come find me on Instagram. I'm easy to find. It's Waylon.Jordan. You can also find me on Facebook with my profile, my regular profile, as well as WL Jordan author. And check out my new book. It's coming out this weekend. These Sins of Mine, a collection of horror stories. Check it out. You're going to love it.
Exciting.
Super exciting. And of course, you can find Lindsey and myself on all the Eye on Horror social. So, like and follow there. You can also find all of us on ihorror.com, the place where we call home. And yeah, we'll see everybody in about 2 weeks or so, 2 more episodes. And until then, hope you have a happy Halloween season. And I'm Jonathan Correia.
I'm Lindsey.
And I'm Waylon.
And this is Talking Titans. This is Talking Titans. We are talking about the Titans. We are talking about the Titans.
I like this. Let's workshop this as our sign off. All right. Keep your eye on Titans talking.
It's so good. What was that?